6.
Help him onto this light. Let's get a proper look at him.
Bloody Nora.
What the hell's happening to him?
Okay.
Welcome, body of citizenry, bumpkins, and spectators, as we browse the spectacular audiobooks searching for blackguards and scandals with the brilliant Lightfoot and the superb Jago in the 217th episode of An Unearthly Podcast, streaming live on the 26th of July, 2017, and featuring Jago and Lightfoot Series 1, The Bloodless Soldier, written by Justin Richards and starring Christopher Benjamin as Henry Gordon Jago, Trevor Baxter as George Lightfoot, and Lisa Bowerman as Ellie Hickson. I am Bill Sylvia, the Man in Black, and with me are Mad Matt Winchell.
There's a bad moon on the rise.
Randy Ronson McCulloch.
I'm still alive.
Aaron Romeo Moon Burke.
I am an ocelot.
And Tim the Enchanter Sheridan.
Hey!
I like how my name just accidentally fit in with the alliteration there.
So, just to let you all know, I've nearly died like twice this week. I apparently had a massive bacterial infection that I first thought was a backache, like the grandmother of all backaches, and then I thought was an asthma attack. And then I realized what it was, and I went, oh, God, this is what killed Jim Henson. This is what killed one of the Warner brothers. Fuck, I'm going to die.
That would not be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Though then we thought you might regenerate into redheaded girl round, but that didn't happen.
Yeah, trust me. There were some times where I'm lying on the bed, gasping for breath, and I'm basically telling my body, come on, fuck it, regenerate! That was actually on my mind. Or I know I will die, and my soul will pass on to the universe, and I'll be in the Ranmaverse. I'll be wakened up by a splash of water as I'm chucked into the koi pond. I know it. This is my afterlife waiting for me. I don't know if I'm good or bad, maybe both.
It's karma.
Yes. Oddly enough, after this, I'm very much a firm believer in the Eastern philosophy of ki, or chi, if you will, because I actually felt it. I'm sitting here lying in bed, I think it was Saturday or Sunday, and I'm at the absolute ebb of my strength. And I feel this feeling by my heart, this kind of fluttering feeling, like somebody's changing a transmission. And I suddenly just feel strength come flowing into my body. So that's kind of weird, yeah, I'm in that Eastern bandwagon now. If I can just harness it and throw it, man.
Well, you've apparently done it once or twice before, but anyway.
I've managed to generate an aura before, but that I won't talk about that because that was
That's
bad.
another story.
I thought that was your fart.
No.
Okay. Well, we've got a lot of news to move on to.
So on tonight's show, the news. And maybe we'll review something if we have time after.
And Vexy wants Randy's stuff.
If we have time after, of course, we'll go into our 5-minute challenge. Scheduled for about an hour in, but we're going to have a little give or take. Episode review, final thoughts, and ratings. I say this, of course, because Comic-Con was this last week.
Yep.
And it dropped all sorts of bombs.
It was a beast.
We're here now to report on the Doctor Who bombs.
Mm-hmm.
Doctor
We would,
Who had
if
two
we were going to
panels
report
that I
on
know
all
of.
the bombs that were dropped at Comic, we would need to have a 2-hour podcast dedicated solely to that.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on, we're going to start with birthdays. 20th of July, we wish a belated happy birthday to Roy Skelton, who was probably one of the most famous of the Dalek voices. He would have been 86, but died in 2011 at 79. Roy was a Dalek voice from 1967 to 1988, spanning 6 Doctors in 21 years. He was the voice of the only Dalek seen in the 5 Doctors. He was also the Dalek that screamed Doctor when Tom Baker was regenerating. He started in 1966 with Doctor Who, playing a monoid in the Ark, and has played several roles, including Cybermen since then. He played a lot of bit parts, both in costume and out of costume, during John Pertwee. So that's Roy Skelton for you.
He went down in the that year that hated Doctor Who, apparently.
Yeah. The year that Who fans wish they could forget. Moving forward to the 22nd of July, we have Bonnie Langford, who played Mel from 1986 to 1987. She turned 53. As we announced a couple of years back on the podcast, Bonnie has been on the BBC soap opera EastEnders since 2015 and is thus far continuing to do so. She is actually, EastEnders has been winning awards since she joined the cast. I don't know if that's a direct result or as just writing has gotten that much better.
Maybe writing improved with her, so.
Yeah. And she's doing that on top of course, voicing Mel as needed for Big Finish's line. Mm-hmm. And that seems to be primarily what she's up to these days. So happy birthday, Bonnie. Moving on, we have another belated birthday on the same day for Adrian Hill, or Katarina, who would have been 80 but died in 1997 at 60. Adrian's run as a companion was brief, as one of only 3 companions that died in the original 26-season run of Doctor Who. She literally died the serial after she joined the TARDIS.
Is the third one you're counting Chameleon?
No, I actually forgot about Chameleon, so that might be 4. It's
you're counting Sarah Kingdom.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who I would admit,
she's of ambiguous status. Yeah.
Yes.
She's ambiguous, but I think she's been around. She was around long enough for a big serial to be counted.
And I can't count.
She was around
Clara,
longer than Katarina, I guess. So.
And I can't count Clara because she's not quite dead. Not quite dead.
Nope.
Think she'll go for a walk now. Feels happy.
Yep.
Feels happy. Okay. Moving forward then to the 26th of July, we've got Eve Miles, or Gwen from Torchwood, turned 39. Eve spent 2016 playing 1 episode of the series Moving On and playing Mrs. Jenkins in the first series of Victoria. This is on top of recording more Torchwood for Big Finish. That seems to be most of what she's up to. Happy birthday, Eve. Same day, we wish happy birthday to Nana Visitor. Played Olivia in Torchwood Miracle Day, but is better known as playing Kira Nerys from Star Trek Deep Space Nine. She turned 60. I actually could not believe that Nana Visitor turns. We haven't seen much from her acting-wise recently, so likely she's resting on her laurels and doing the convention circuit. After all, every Star Trek alumni convention circuit, that's where you go.
Pretty much.
And finally, on the same day, a happy birthday to Bob Baker, screenwriter, co-creator of K9, 78. Bob is the current driving force behind the K9 franchise and is rumored to be working on a new K9 theatrical movie. I believe a few weeks ago, might be a couple months ago now, we showed an image of what the new K9 was going to look from that movie. Still, until we see it, it's vapor, so, we'll believe
it's there, it's vapor, but it looks like an improvement if it is going to go through.
I mean, still has to get a production company behind him and everything, so.
Mm-hmm.
Happy birthday, Bob. Good luck.
Good luck. Have fun.
Hmm?
Good luck. Have
And-
fun.
Of course, with birthdays also comes deaths, and we have another one this week. Aaron, take it away.
Well, it is my sad duty to report that Deborah Watling has passed away, most famously known in Doctor Who as Victoria. Victoria Waterfield, the companion for Patrick Troughton's second Doctor. She died at the age of 69, the daughter of actors Patricia Hicks and Jack Watling, the latter of whom played Professor Travers in the first two Great Intelligence stories. Deborah started her career at 10 in 1958, playing Sally in H.G. Wells's Invisible Man before playing Victoria from 1967 to 1968, and then reprising the role in a number of specials. Her final appearance as Victoria was in the Big Finish Second Doctor Volume 1 box set in June of 2016, with the exception of Doctor Who specials and spin-offs. Deborah's last screen acting credit was the Jim Davidson show in 1981. Deborah's death comes several weeks after her diagnosis of lung cancer.
Mm.
So
It's sad, but cancer is the big Doctor Who killer,
Right.
and this time it's lung cancer. And you got to think about it. Back in the '60s, everybody in the movie industry. I mean, if you weren't smoking, you were around people smoking.
Mhm.
If you look at a picture of Sidney Newman, I think he always has a cigar in his hand.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Well, she did live to see the announcement of a female doctor, so hopefully she went happy.
Yeah.
Probably never would have expected that in this 1960s.
Oh, hell no.
Not in the
Although
60s,
Sidney
no.
Newman did
This is-
suggest it
this
in the
is-
80s.
This is
Yep.
Deborah Watling, whose character was best known for screaming.
she was Doctor Who's Scream Queen.
Yes,
the
she
time.
is. Even better than Mel. Her screams actually killed monsters sometimes. I'm not kidding. Watch Fury from the Deep.
That's when you
Although
know you hit
apparently
your
she
prime.
fought not to have the character like that and to focus on the stronger aspects and things.
Mm.
But it didn't quite go over.
Didn't go
So they
over, not at the
replaced her
time.
with Zoe, who was from the future and therefore could be a little more proactive.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a
All right.
Victorian character. It's kind of hard to work through
Yeah.
that gray area.
Yep, it is. All right. So we're going from our lost stories here to episode news, of which we have a few tidbits. Tim, I believe this is your area.
Yes, the news about the upcoming Christmas special was announced at Comic-Con. We have a title, and it's Twice Upon a Time. And Twice Upon a Time will also feature Pearl Mackie returning as Bill Potts, and a role played by writer Mark Gatiss, who so far is known only as the Captain. In addition to Peter Capaldi as the 12th Doctor and David Bradley as the First Doctor.
And we know this is supposed to be like 1986, I believe, right?
Do we?
Well, if he's picking up the Doctor...
Oh,
as
you're
he's
saying at least
trudging
in the
through
start of the episode, yeah.
Yes.
Although, as the trailer shows, all of history happening in a single moment, not unlike the Wedding of River Song. So
Somebody break time again?
Wouldn't
apparently,
be the first time.
Yep.
Frickin'.
But you see, Moffat keeps time in his desk, and occasionally he drops it.
It just
Okay.
spills all over up in there.
Who's watched this trailer?
I just
I
got
did
done watching
one
it.
I think
once.
I
I
saw
watched it once.
Yeah.
Okay, did you see that segue they did at the beginning from the Hartnell
Yes.
to Bradley?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was pretty awesome.
That was scary. I can still tell the tonal difference between Hartnell and Bradley,
hmm
but God, that face. I almost swear it didn't change.
I'm showing the middle of the transition for the stream right now in paused video.
Yeah. Okay, I see a little bit of like the brow softening, but that's about it. Bradley
Actually,
does
there's a little bit of extra wrinklage on the brow, but that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, he's thoroughly like Hartnell.
And Hartnell is a little more scowly.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, there's chipper moments,
I mean,
but that particular scene though.
in that particular scene, yeah. But if you look at Hartnell, or if you look at Bradley when he plays Filch, he's pretty damn scowly.
Yeah,
True.
or Walder Frey, or pretty much any role he's majorly known for.
Man, you just watch that and you're just like, oh my god, they could do this. They could pull this off.
Mm-hmm.
And then fuck it, take Bradley on for a whole new series of First Doctor adventures.
Oh, speaking of doctors, I mentioned, I think at one point in our off-air chat, do we think, I forget his name, I think it's Reese Sherman, who played Patrick Troughton in the docudrama. Do you think he's going to show up at the end of the episode?
I hope not. I really did not like his Troughton.
Mm.
It was one of those ones they skimped on slightly because he was only there for one scene.
Yeah.
So they only had to have someone that kind of
Right.
sounded more like Troughton than he looked.
Because I think there are clips of the beginning of the regeneration scene as part of this with a body double playing Polly. So there may be a full regeneration happening.
I hope.
Or two full regenerations, I should say.
I hope if they're doing that, they find somebody who looks it rather than sounds like it. Because yes, I would love to see David Bradley team up with Sean Pertwee and have like 1 in 3 moments. Oh well, go ahead and move on, Tim.
Moving on, as I said, Mark Gatiss is playing a role. This will be the 4th time he has appeared on screen in Doctor Who.
Really? I knew he played the Lazarus experiment, Professor Lazarus.
He voiced a World War II pilot nicknamed Danny Boy in the episodes
Oh,
Victory
you
and
play
the
Danny
Dogs
Boy. Okay.
and
Okay.
War. And he played a mysterious figure called Gantok in The Wedding of River Song.
He lost a game of chess to the Doctor, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Says he's also has written 10 episodes for the series, returned, and he created the 2013 making of drama An Adventure in Time and Space, where he was the actual person to cast Bradley as the first Doctor actor William Hartnell.
Well, he did a damn good job.
Yeah. That was Mark Gatiss did that? Wow.
Oh yeah, that was Gatiss. That's Gaddis's best contribution to Doctor Who thus far.
He found the new first Doctor.
Well, no, I mean the whole special.
Well, the
was
special
good.
itself was still really solid too, but they found a new first Doctor because of him.
I'm like, how did this guy that made such a great special make the really crappiest episodes?
Well, keep in mind the special was more non-fiction.
It was more
Well,
non-fiction,
that's
and also
really
he was allowed to do what he wanted, whereas everything else goes through Moffat filter.
Yeah. And sometimes the specific set of skills someone has is very specific.
And Gaddis did do a little work under David. Made The Unquiet Dead.
That was a good one.
I like that episode. It was the first episode that felt like classic Doctor Who to me.
So the question is, how much of an effect did the Moffat filter have on him compared to Davies' filter?
How much of Gaddis's issues has Moffat managing? I don't know. I honestly would wonder how Gaddis would do it. But from what we hear, we're probably not going to get that. Anyway, moving on.
Shooting on the Christmas special is all done, according to Steve Moffat.
Well, he should know.
Moffat. he added that we've really, really recently, just the other day, we're now editing. It's still a work in progress, which means that the Jodie Whittaker's regeneration is now, I believe the phrase is in the can.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Probably her regeneration and first, mini scene.
Yep.
Because, they always give the new Doctor that a couple of minutes of, David Tennant got the, where were we? Oh, yes, Barcelona.
The couple seconds, yes.
Matt Smith got the whole staggering around the TARDIS,
I'm
legs.
still
I've
not
still
Ginger.
got legs, yeah. And then Paldi had the kidneys. I've got new kidneys.
I don't like the color.
Yeah. So one has had the mini scene like that. So probably they've got her regeneration and the mini scene in the wrap up now, and it's all going to Pope.
I swear, if she starts checking out her new body and goes, "I have Dalek bumps," I'll have a cackling laugh.
I would laugh my ass off, but they're not going to do that.
You don't know for sure. We'll wait and see.
Her sonic screwdriver better not have 3 settings.
Nah, it's got 6.
We also have Peter Capaldi stating what we can expect from let me rephrase that. We have Steve Moffat stating what we can expect from Peter Capaldi as he departs the show. So, you could quote, "You get what he stands for, what he tries to be, the man he aspires to be. I suppose you get what that takes out of him, what it's like to try to be that, what that battle was like for him. So it's kind of personal about the Doctor. It's, how long do I have to keep doing this? It's sad, and it's kind of happy as well, but it's the choice to live on and why that choice can be difficult." Okay, that's very, this is me talking, I think that's a lot of words, and it's
Very wishy-washy.
vague.
Well, yeah, but you got to remember he has to drag this tension out for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
So
he has to keep sending off the signal flares going, "Look at me, look what we're about to do," until he's done
What
in
he
December.
stands for. And what the Doctor stands for is Hostess fruit pies.
Petridge Farm remembers.
Seriously, Daleks, you don't want to take. Here, have an apple pie. This one's cherry.
And here's the Ninja Turtle one. I wouldn't try that one if I were you. It's full of green stuff, and we still don't know what that is. It don't taste like fruit, though.
I'm sorry.
In a fruit pie advert, the Daleks would be invading Earth specifically to get Hostess fruit pies.
Fruit pie. Fruit pie.
I'm imagining Cybermen by jamming a fruit pie in its.
By
intake
putting a fruit pie, it's vent.
Oh God, this is gonna be in my head all night. God damn it!
Now a Dalek with a plunger.
damn
Fruit
it,
pie
Jim.
won't get into mouth.
Success!
Our suits don't have mouths. Curses!
It's even worse because I'm remembering those old Dexter's Lab cartoons that had the fruit pie episode.
Mm-hmm.
No, not just as fruit pies and a delicious cream
Yes!
of fruit filling that you're crazy to hate. Oh, I give up. Later.
Yes,
There.
like I'm
It's
seeing
Major
the
Glory.
Master doing that now. God damn it!
Ah.
This is
Curse
It's
you,
gonna
Doctor!
fuck
You
me up the rest
boiled
of
me
the
again.
night.
With the
Damn
fruit
it,
pies. Anyway.
okay. Move on.
All right. So Sophie Aldred had a chance to talk about her character Ace at the classic Doctor Who panel at Comic-Con. Ace is one companion that has had, a multiple variety of possible timelines, seeing as how Doctor Who was canceled in the middle of her run. Big Finish has done a few things. The novels and comics have all done different things. Well, Ace says a little bit about both what she thinks and about what Russell T Davies had planned up until the unfortunate death of Elizabeth Sladen. She mentions that she believes that Ace would, in one way or another, be involved with traveling with the Doctor until she grows old and dies. She says that could be what happened to Ace because she never really had anywhere to go back to or any particular relationships that she wanted to go back to. But she would rather not find out. She thinks it's really great to leave it as a mystery. She also says she didn't know, but at the time, during the Sarah Jane Adventures Series 5, Russell T Davies had a few scenes planned out. A sports car was going to pull up in front of Sarah Jane's house. The door would open, and Ace would come out in a suit, with Sarah Jane, of course, not knowing her at first.
Mhm.
She says she would have absolutely loved to work with Liz Sladen. They knew each other very well from conventions and signings and so on, but apparently hadn't worked together. So she would have been very interested in that.
Mm.
And that's about it on that story.
I had to mute my mic because I was still giggling. This would have been another wonderful add-on. And Sarah Jane Adventures was great on bringing back classic series. Well, it brought back the Brigadier. It brought back Joe Grant.
Yep.
Although it was Joe Jones at that point. It would have been great to have seen another companion. That would have been beautiful. Too bad.
Yeah.
God damn it, canceled that to us. All right. So now we're going on to what's going to be a huge bit of doctoring. The first thing that we're going to talk about is Colin Baker wanted to talk about how Capaldi, how his tenure went, and it's like he thought that Peter Capaldi has a rough deal, and I agree with him. What he says is the fans weren't very kind to Peter Capaldi because they'd been conditioned to want eye candy. It's like the first and second and third Doctors, none of them were eye candy. They were strong, definite characters. We did tease that Peter Davidson had eye candy qualities, but don't tell him I said that. Colin then talks about how the whole thing for his character was to reveal his true self later on, but that plan was stymied by the powers that be, the DC, who didn't like the program. Michael Grade. Michael Grade. But yes, if you think about it, look at Tennant, look at Matt Smith, even look at Chris Eccleston. And that's, basically almost 10 years of Doctor Who right there, where we had these 20 to 30 somethings attractive male lead. The heartthrob doctors, if you will. And I honestly think that David Tennant is the biggest in that. I mean, he just came off Casanova to play Doctor Who.
Mm-hmm.
And so then we get old guy. And the fans went, what? Well, us classic fans are going, yes, a return to form.
The newbie fans are like, what? Well, the rest of us are like, yes, hello.
So, yeah, I do think he got shafted slightly. Because they didn't think, old Doctor would make great action figures. Or, would make that. Of course they will. You never had any problem with this. You think about it. The fourth Doctor, Tom Baker, was not eye candy. He was not an attractive man. But what he did have was an incredible sense of presence and charisma.
Yes.
And that's kind of one of the things the Doctor needs to have is a strong sense of charisma, a strong presence. And I thought Peter Capaldi had that in spades. How about you guys?
There's no question that he had that. It's just that these newbie fans don't really get Doctor Who yet. And this kind of came across and slapped them in the face, and they did not. And I think a lot of them weren't sure if they still liked it or not.
Yep. So I agree with Colin Baker. Apparently, you guys do too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now we're going to a little bit more of our Comic-Con news. And on Thursday, John Barrowman celebrated Jodie Whittaker's Doctor Who casting by basically being John Barrowman. Came out to Comic-Con. If you're on the article, go down to the second picture.
Mm-hmm.
A TARDIS dress. There was some horrible Twitter backlash on this. Oh. Mic on, honey. Sorry, Aaron was trying to speak. I could hear.
Oh, yeah, I haven't heard her in a while.
Sorry. I didn't even hear what you said. I thought you said my con. I'm like, oh, sorry, I'm talking over your article.
No, microphone on. You were not coming through. I could hear you, but no one else could.
All right. So yeah, I saw a couple of responses to this. Actually, yeah, I did see a couple of responses, and one of them was that they felt it was transphobic for him to do this because he could either be considered a cis man in a dress or a gay man in a dress performing in basically what is a tranny joke.
Okay.
So that's why some people were upset about it.
Can I make a moment to actually say that calling John Barrowman transphobic is funnier than the fucking fruit pie thing. John Barrowman is anything but.
Oh,
John Barrowman is only one step away from Captain Jack, and that's the fact that he's not, dating aliens.
They were pretty nasty too. Like these guys, they got to accusing him of being a serial flasher and being just basically a pervert on the set of Torchwood.
Which it's really weird because
evidence.
I mean, that's part of the whole like gender positivity thing is, yes, let a guy wear a dress, don't judge him for it, fine. And that's part of what John Barrowman's been all about is, yes, break the stereotype, wear what you choose to, as long as you're not hurting anybody. And he does that stuff all the time.
And nobody would have batted an eye if this had been.
Your voice cut out, Ren.
I said if this had been Eddie Izzard.
Eddie Izzard? No, people wouldn't have batted an eye, no.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why this is stupid.
Now, mind you, I think this is hysterical. This is freaking hysterical, John Barrowman coming out in this.
John Barrowman doing this, yes, this is hysterical. The reaction from dumb people, though. Oh, my word. What the hell's wrong with you people?
Anyway, John Barrowman is all for the idea of a woman doctor.
Obviously.
He has a few things to say about it. It's like he doesn't say that he'll be a he all the time. We don't know who he'll regenerate into, so it couldn't conceivably happen. If we forget the producers who are making the decision, if we believe it is that world, I'm getting really geeky and nerdy right here. It could possibly happen. It could be a girl, right? The other thing is we all get out of the TARDIS, as I did, or you get in the TARDIS with the Doctor, whoever that may be, and we go in the TARDIS for a journey and experience and the stories. And then he talks about the backlash and saying, we have to wait and see what happens. So the people who are the critics at the moment, they have a right to be critical, but let's give it a chance. How about that? Just sit down and give it a chance. When she took that hood off, I thought, okay, Captain Ack might like you. Give the Doctor a transgender companion. Give him a boy. Give him a girl. Give him a little boy or little girl. We could have many different combinations. It can be open to a lot. Actually, that's all very Barrowman saying. But yes, he's right. Give it a chance, people.
Mm-hmm. We haven't even gotten any footage yet, people. You can't judge something without actually having real footage.
Yeah, my only concern on this casting is that's my only concern. I mentioned that last week.
You keep cutting out. What? Your only concern was what now?
The writers. And that is my only concern on this. Do I have to freaking adjust my...
I don't... Yeah,
you keep cutting out every once in a while.
You keep cutting out like in the middle of the
end of your sentences. I don't know if your voice drops at the end of the sentence or what, but it's been doing
okay.
that.
I think I can fix that. Earlier when I tried to first sign on, it was not going through my headset, and I thought it was, and I dropped my game. Okay, so I picked it back up again. Okay. All right, so yeah, give her a chance, people. Don't hate her for, the fact that she's a female. Try, at least sit down, watch a few episodes.
At the very least, wait until we're done with the Christmas special, which she'll probably guest
No,
here in the end of. No. Give them till at least then before you even start making any decisions, and even then, that's really not enough.
Christmas special won't be the new writers, so
yeah, it won't be the new writers, and it won't be enough. I hated David Tennant coming out of Parting of the Ways. I absolutely thought he looked like Plastic Man. I'm like, I don't like this. By the end of the Christmas Invasion, he was my Doctor. And then he was for the following, 3 seasons that he was the Doctor. Well, three seasons plus specials. Mm-hmm. He still is my Doctor. I like him better than I like Smith. But I hated him when he first saw him. I hated Matt Smith when I first saw him because he's like all rubber face and weird.
Mm-hmm. That's because they're all sweaty and they just transformed and stuff.
I got used to it. Actually, no. Matt Smith is a little bit rubber faced.
He's a chubby cheeks. But
yeah,
anyway,
he looks like he got hit by a puffer fish. But I dealt with it. It got on. I didn't feel that way about Capaldi, but I knew who Capaldi was going into it.
He was old grumpy, but he was prepared to be old grumpy.
Yeah.
And he was already off the bat a fun old grumpy. Anyway,
let's move on. All right. So, speaking of David Tennant, we already know that David Tennant is going to be voicing Scrooge McDuck in the upcoming DuckTales thing. And he had voiced previously a robot in the Jedi Temple in Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Mm-hmm. Apparently, he's really liking voice acting these days.
Mm. Also a robot that was a major for a season in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh yes, I forgot about that.
That's right. Yeah.
So yeah, apparently he's really into voice acting now, because not only is he doing DuckTales, he is doing Call of Duty World War II Zombies, and he has just signed up to do a science fiction animated series called Final Space. This is an indie internet filmmaker. This epic space opera sitcom is being described as unlike anything on TV right now. The creator, Olin Rogers, is teasing it as the first serialized animated interstellar comedic adventure.
Animated.
Rogers will star as the lead character, Gary Space, with Tennant joining as a figure known only as the Lord Commander. With the series focusing on Gary and his alien friend Mooncake as they travel the galaxy to solve the titular mystery of Final Space. It should be noted that Tennant is not the only famous person that is signed up to do this. Other voices will be including Ron Perlman, Gina Torres from Firefly, Fred Armisen, Saturday Night Live, Stephen Yeun from Walking Dead, Conan O'Brien, and Caleb McLaughlin and Shannon Purser, who were on Stranger Things. And this was announced at Comic-Con, so...
Speaking of Stranger Things, they're doing season 2.
So this is apparently where David Tennant's finding his way.
He's finding his big niche, his audio, apparently.
All right. So as you heard,
Mark Hamill Part 2.
Moving on.
Pearl Mackie.
Yes. As we'd heard, Pearl Mackie will be in the Christmas special. However, we have confirmed that this is going to be her final appearance. She will not continue on the show past the Christmas special. She does, however, add that she'll never say never to an appearance down the line, as several other companions have done. So, they do a special or something with a few other people, or one of those, callback where everybody gets together in the TARDIS for something. She's available for that, but other than that, she is not going to continue on into Series 11, which does mean that Chibnall has to cast a new companion. On the other part of this, on the other part of this, Michelle Gomez, who had stated that she was retiring completely from the role of Missy at the end of this has somewhat backtracked.
The master always has a way out.
She's now implying that she's she's ready to be Missy again, but she does not want to be a regular season role.
Mm-hmm.
She wants to be one of these episodic appearances kind of thing, where she shows up every couple of years or something like that.
She's willing to play Missy as long as it doesn't have to be a whole season thing.
Her interview to TV line says, "I don't know about being a master to another doctor. I feel very loyal to Peter, and I don't know how that would work, but I'm willing to find out as a later date." So it's not so much as she's quitting, just semi-retiring.
And she'll wait until she gets a good script would be the best option.
Who knows? Maybe she'll spend the next 5 years trying to kill the doctor.
From the shadows.
No, I just mean she'll go full Ainley. Every now and then the doctor just wanders into one of her death traps.
I found you again. But as I was saying, the master always has a back door.
Dang it, I liked you before. Maybe if I kill you a few more times, you'll change back. All right, so that is our Doctor and Companion news. Aaron.
Yes, moving on to, let me just scroll down.
Actually, this is also Doctor and Companion news. Just
I was gonna say, so news has come down that Jodie Whittaker will be paid the same as Peter Capaldi, according to the BBC. Of course, this is part of the BBC's push to try to equalize the amount of pay that female workers at the BBC are paid compared to male workers. Let me see here. He's been talking. Let me see. Someone's been talking to the Evening Standard and was asked whether the new Dr. Jodie Whittaker would be taking how the C pound 200,000K. What does the C pound symbol mean?
I'm not sure. I'm not looking at what you're seeing, but it might be the euro.
It's like the top of the freaking first major paragraph there.
Yeah, it's the it's
right below the bold.
I don't have the article open on my screen. That's why. Let me see.
It could be a typo, but
I think it's a typo.
Yeah. So anyway, 200,000 pounds that Peter Capaldi earned for the role in the last financial year. This was confirmed. Tony Hall has been discussing this, so he has confirmed that she will, and that I do think it's time for 13th Time Lord to be a woman. I watched my first Doctor Who in the 60s. So, and of course, he makes the hiding behind the sofa reference that Bill loves so much.
It's a Doctor Who trope. You're not going to get rid of it, Bill.
Yeah.
Suck it up, deal with it.
It is what they've done since the 60s. Get over it.
Am I the one who's commented on that? I thought it was somebody else.
I feel it's kind of a complicated kind of issue talking about pay, because there are many factors other than just, what has been discussed on like more conservative YouTubers channels about like meritocracy and whatnot. I think there's a lot of other things at issue too.
Yeah, but with that being said, though, much like Capaldi, I don't really know anything about our new Doctor coming up as she's coming into the role. So as far as I'm concerned, the fact that she has the same pay as Peter, I'm fine with.
Before the stream started, Bill, we were actually discussing this article, and you said that every Doctor in the new Who series has been paid less than his predecessor.
Yes.
Until now. Does that include Eccleston to Tennant?
It went from 1.5 million pounds a season to 1 million pounds a season, I believe, from Eccleston to Tennant.
So yes, it did.
Wow, I didn't realize they were paid that much before. Then
it dropped to 600, I think, for Smith, and then 200 for Capaldi.
I thought
for which one? For Smith?
200K. I thought it was 400. Yeah. Oh, well.
That said, we've discussed a little bit, and I'm not sure if we've said this on air or not, but starting with the Smith era, I mean, we know that it was partially cut due to the recession and the budget cut. We also don't know what BBC Worldwide's contribution is, because that was around the time when marketing and international appeal kind of really took off with Doctor Who to a greater extent than it had been before. So they're probably receiving some amount of checks for their likeness or things like that. But if they are, we really don't know about it unless someone says so in an interview.
Yeah, marketing and licensing has always been this really kind of gray, dangerous issue with the BBC. And so how they've handled it now is all of that goes through BBC Worldwide.
Right. And since that's considered a private corporation, unlike the regular BBC, they're not required to disclose it.
They can do whatever they want whenever they want.
I can see why they're trying to hold it at 200,000, because, you know, the first female doctor shows up and all of a sudden she's paid less than her predecessor. That's not going to look very good PR-wise.
And they're obviously not as sure about her as they were not that sure about Capaldi when he first came in, because both of them have had negative knee-jerk reactions when they first came on.
Oh, yeah. It's just like, and it's really gotten... I mean, there's a lot of love towards Jodie too, but there's also been some pretty kind of...
I haven't really heard any of the full-on hate, but I have heard their whispers here and there.
That's a great segue for Tim's
the next piece. All right,
pieces.
Next piece then.
Yep, next piece of the Backlash and related issues. As we reported last week, there has been some controversy on the casting of the 13th Doctor. While many fans and previous Doctors have come out in support of Jodie Whittaker, Peter Davison has also said some words in support of the detractors, asking for fans to be encouraging of those who need to adjust, and citing mixed feelings about the loss of a non-violent male role model.
Which article are we looking at?
That specifically is the Telegraph one, but all these four are kind of connected in just a single narrative.
Is this Telegraph? No, I don't. There's a Telegraph. There it is.
Unless you didn't. Oh, okay.
It doesn't have like a really clear icon for me to find it, so there it is.
Yeah. And I noticed he does admit that he is a dinosaur in that.
Mm-hmm.
And mind you, Davidson's comments weren't negative at all about Jodie Whittaker.
No, they weren't negative to her. They were concerned, though. He, like the rest of us, he's not sure what's going to happen, and just kind of publicly saying this is what makes me leery.
He was more dismayed at the loss of a non-violent male role model for small boys, which is very true. Which is what his role is. Was when he was the Doctor in the 80s. If you think about it, I mean, he's talking as opposed to like the Zap Brannigan type.
Yeah.
We come in peace, shoot to kill, shoot to kill, shoot to kill.
I don't like them. They're being too neutral.
Yeah. So, he was thinking, that at least boys who, statistically speaking, have been more prone to violence, needed the non-violent role model more than girls did. And that is his opinion.
And that is his opinion, and he also stated that it's not necessarily always true. And I believe Colin Baker had something to say about that.
Actually, it wasn't Colin Baker Colin Baker did have a couple of things to say about it, but it was friendly kind of patter between Colin and Peter.
Yeah. But essentially, Peter's a little bit worried, but he's hopeful that things will still turn out all right.
Next bit.
Trying problems with my computer.
Okay. Do you want me to continue then, or?
Well, the next bit is all about how the backlash to Peter Davison has him quitting and deleting his Twitter account.
Yeah, it was nasty.
I didn't see any of that, but I assumed it was probably
It was abusive. It was abusive.
And every one of these people should be held responsible.
And here's the problem, is that you have there's such a thing as too much of a good thing. It's great that people are pro Jodie Whittaker, but then you get to the people that are now putting Jodie Whittaker up on this pedestal, and anybody has anything negative to say about it, they're evil, racist, bigoted assholes who must be shut down.
And they'll screech to the moon until you go away.
That's kind of the same phenomenon we saw with Ghostbusters, where people were unwarrantedly nasty, which caused other people to be unwarrantedly nasty in response, and it just escalated on both sides.
Yeah, and the thing is, Ghostbusters came out. It was a shitty movie, people.
No, I'm talking about before it came out. People were unwarrantedly nasty before we saw any of it, which caused other people to be unwarrantedly nasty in response.
But what I'm saying is the people that were saying, this movie looks like it's going to suck, were right.
Yes.
The movie sucked.
It didn't kill their childhoods, which is what they were claiming, though. But that's neither here nor there. We should move on.
That still killed the franchise anyway.
The news. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we figured this was going to go long, and once we can get out of this section, it'll go quickly.
Yep, moving along.
Outgoing showrunner Stephen Moffat has made the statement that there was no backlash at all, with 80% social media approval, and that he wishes journalists focusing on the negative feedback would shut the hell up.
Yeah. Journalists are like sharks. They smell blood in the water, and they just go for it. Very funny because I watched a cartoon that compared detectives to sharks earlier.
Not so sure about that one, but yeah.
I'll explain it later.
Yeah. The ability will report anything in a negative light or overly excessively positive light if they think they'll get more views for it. That's the news on the net.
Sensationalism.
This has resulted in quite negative feelings on some platforms who compare the playing down of the vocal 20% of detractors as similar to those who claimed that sexism ended when women got the vote, or that racism ended when Barack Obama became president.
Which it didn't.
Right.
Neither of those things will ever go away because humans still exist.
There's always going to be in a crowd a bigoted asshole somewhere. But, there's a point where they can become the exception and not the rule. And right now, it's a very divided society about this kind of thing, and it's really starting to show.
Our society has been very divisive about all of this kind of stuff for years now, and it's getting to be just petty.
Worse. Yeah. It's getting worse. On both sides. All right, so let's leave this unsettling, uncomfortable thing.
Yep.
And I would just like to say one more thing to all the negativity people out there. Get over it. Move
Grow
on.
up.
Yep.
Yeah.
I did make a Nedry meme for all those people that like to chime in on random conversations with the fact that they're not watching Doctor Who anymore. And if for those who forget names and don't know who I'm talking about, Nedry is the guy in the Hawaiian shirt who says, see, this guy's et cetera, see, no one cares from Jurassic Park.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt like it fit the
nobody
announcements.
cares.
The day I stop watching Doctor Who is the day the writing quality has gone so far down in the shitter that I can't even recognize it as Doctor Who anymore.
The day that every episode is as bad as
showrunner fail, not actor fail.
Yeah,
and you'll still probably watch it then.
the day that every episode becomes Journey to the Center of the TARDIS.
Yeah, once everything becomes Journey to the Center of the TARDIS, I don't know if I could stand that without Malox.
Just walk away and forget that I was ever a part of this. I'll start up the Tokusatsu podcast again. Or just a general geek podcast, just to get away from Doctor Who.
Yep. Moving on to more clearly positive news. Russell T Davies, the Doctor Who showrunner from I'm going to say 2004 because he started work around 2003, 2004
yeah,
until 2009 or arguably New Year's Day of 2010. Russell T Davies is receiving this year's Edinburgh Television Festival's Outstanding Achievement Award. And that's probably why Rand mentioned that he wasn't sure what Russell had done lately, but if this is an award that's given to one person once a year, then it would make sense that they might have a bit of a backlog in terms of getting it out to people.
Mm-hmm.
It will be given out on Friday, the 25th of August, when we will be gathering for GeekCon. And he'll be getting, he'll be receiving the gong, I guess the award's in the shape of a gong, which he'll be receiving from Nicola Schindler, who oversaw RTD's television drama Queer as Folk.
I'm sorry, I can't take an award shaped like a gong seriously. I watched way too many episodes of the Gong Show.
I was about to say, do they have a thing to make it chime?
The advisory chair of the festival says he's delighted that Russell is returning to the festival to receive the Outstanding Achievement Award. He's the man behind some of the nation's favorite dramas, and his career continues to be incredibly successful and remarkably varied. He's very excited to hear what will no doubt be an insightful and funny look back over 30 years of great work. With his long-term collaborator, Nicola Schindler of Red Asking the Questions, we can be sure there'll be no holds barred. So congratulations, Russell, on the award.
Okay. So with everything going on with the new Doctor and everything, eBay decided to take a quick look at Doctor Who merchandise on their site and decided to get a listing of which Doctor's merchandise sells the most.
Ooh.
The top winner, David Tennant, takes the lead with nearly 6,000 current listings on the site. The next closest is the fourth Doctor, Tom Baker, which has 2,000 items, including the scarf and K9. Third place is, oddly enough, Peter Capaldi, who has nearly 1,000 items. And then Matt Smith has fallen to fourth, and John Pertwee in fifth. The Doctors in order are David Tennant, Tom Baker, Peter Capaldi, Matt Smith, Pertwee, Davidson, Hartnell, Troughton, McGann, and Colin Baker taking the basement.
Poor Colin.
So I guess they didn't check for Hurt or Cushing, anyone like that.
Apparently not.
Apparently not. There should be some though.
There's probably a little.
A small amount compared to the others, I'm sure. But yeah.
I mean, there's probably some people selling like the War Doctor DVDs.
Barbara, Joanna Lumley, Sonic Screwdriver.
With 3 settings. Yeah. All right. And that's really all that's really about that article is who's the King Doctor of merch, and it's Tennant by a long shot.
Tennant with a crowning victory with Tom Baker trying to climb back up to his height. They haven't forgotten me yet.
Oh no! It'll be a long time before we forget about Tom Baker. He's still a very iconic Doctor. So is 10th, though, really. More iconic than I think Smith or even Capaldi.
Yeah. Anyway.
So moving on to the next article, Aaron.
All right, so we've gotten some more details on the Doctor Who Experience's final summer of activities here. It's going to be closing its doors on September 9th. And let me see here. We're going to start with Saturday, the 22nd of July, which is already passed, featured the school summer holidays with the Cybermen Special Day. Cybermen patrolled the attraction. Millennium FX revealed how the monsters were released. Luke Spillane, Doctor Who fan show of the Doctor Who fan show, presented a Facebook Live transmission from the experience. Saturday, the 5th of August, is cosplay day. So get your costumes dusted off and ready to go one last round. And then Saturday, the 12th of August, is Doctor Who Experience Snapchat Treasure Hunt, where tickets to the final day of the experience will be up for grabs. So.
I think we knew some of those because I think we had a similar article, but it was several months ago.
Yeah, but it was a couple months ago, and not all the details were final.
So yeah, they will have exhibits for Series 10 as well as a fully restored Yeti on display.
That would be worth admission alone, almost.
Yeah.
When was the last time they used a Yeti? That was the 80s.
They just actually it was the 83. They just restored it. I remember us doing that article not that long ago.
Yeti, or was that? I thought that they were restoring a Ice Warrior mask.
No, they found an Ice Warrior mask and restored it. And it was either shortly before or after that. The experience had asked the fans what they most wanted to see, and the response was Yeti.
Nice.
So they restored one.
They managed to get enough parts to restore one. Cool.
Yep. All right, so we're going to move on to books now, and I believe, Tim, you have a couple of things there.
Other books news from Penguin Random House Children's UK has announced that it has snapped up the world publishing rights across all languages for Doctor Who Series 11, following the casting of Jodie Whittaker. And this will cover non-fiction, fiction, novelty, activity, audio, and the Doctor Who Annual.
So they got everything for the new Doctor coming up.
Except for the actual episodes themselves.
If they do novelizations of those.
Action figures. Because I'm pretty sure it's the same company that's been making action figures for a while now is going to keep making them.
Oh, yeah. We're talking about books. We're not talking about anything else.
No, because they're talking about audio, too. They said audio.
Oh, they said audio?
Yep. Cover fiction, non-fiction, fiction, novelty, activity, audio, and the Doctor Who Annual.
Which I'm expecting that to be audio, specifically audio books, because they do still do those for the new Doctors.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Also, we have a new book coming out from ATB Publishing called Red, White, and Who: The Story of Doctor Who in America.
I love the picture.
The Statue of Liberty and the scarf.
Yes.
Yes.
Sitting on a TARDIS.
Sitting on a TARDIS, and there's a...
Is it holding up a sonic screwdriver?
Yes, it is holding up a sonic screwdriver. What's the book?
It is.
Is that the 100? Is that the 900-year diary or something like that?
500-year diary.
500-year diary, and they have a sea devil in the ocean holding up a sign for the forward by Gary Russell.
And there's a quote from
There's Daleks in the background.
In Manhattan, on the Empire State Building.
Which they built.
It's their fault it's there. All of the references in here. Oh, also the Statue of Liberty is wearing a fez.
Oh, man. We could go forever on this. Finding different...
But yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Continue on, Tim.
So, quoting Gary Russell's forward, "This is genuinely fascinating stuff. A warm, dryly caustic in places look at the way the show was viewed, received, influenced by, and ultimately loved by the American audience. You've earned this book."
Does that mean we get it for free?
Yeah, right.
We wish.
Has to do with America.
America.
Doctor Who in America. Fuck yeah.
All right. Next, we move on to Big Finish news. Oh, there's none. Are we done? No, we're not done. But
all
there
is
other
silent on
news.
the Big Finish front.
All is quiet.
Yep. All right. We do, however, have some other news, and this one comes to us from, it looks like, a Doctor Who magazine issue that hasn't come out yet. So I guess this was Cult Box looking at their preview. But this is information from Mark Gatiss about a story for the 2008 series that would have been David Tennant's final season.
Second, nope. 2009 was the final season.
2009 was not a season.
No.
2009 was specials. So this would have been the final full season.
So the Doctor and Donna.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm correct, Gatiss did not air an episode during that season, so it makes sense that this would have been, and this was an episode written by him, so it was intended for that. It was entitled The Suicide Exhibition, set during World War II, and would have seen the Doctor against Nazis. He said the episode was on the verge of production for a while, so I guess they, for whatever reason, either couldn't figure out whether or not to make it, or there was something keeping them from doing so.
Might have been budget.
He said the episode came from something that Gatiss had seen about how when the World War I, they were evacuating things from museums to various Welsh museums. I'm guessing from high target locations to locations less likely to be bombed or invaded or whatnot. Oh no, never mind. It's just confusing wording. So they were moving things from museums to places like salt mines and things like that. What they had in both World Wars was this amazing thing called the Suicide Exhibition, which he doesn't really explain what that means. He says RTD liked the idea, and it was RTD's idea to bring the Nazis into it and give it an Indiana Jones feel. The museum was a puzzle box of sliding doors and traps and stuff, Gatiss recalled. And they say other episodes failed to run instead, so I guess this is just one that Gatiss pitched that they just never ended up making.
They're thinking about
it's probably one of the things that when they did the whole pitch me an episode to it.
Yeah.
Then they choose the 13 episodes that were going to comprise the seasons back then. Moffat apparently can only do 12. I don't know. And they chop it up and decide, okay, all right, we're gonna do these two in a block, 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 and then whatever script goes out just kind of goes by the wayside.
Right.
Occasionally they'd get reused in later series, and occasionally they'd just collect dust. And this was one of the ones that never got any further than that. But it would have been an interesting story. And it would have been interesting to see another Gatiss penned under Russell T.
Yeah.
And that is all of our news. Ending.
Can I add
10
in something?
minutes. No.
Can I add really quick, though? This weekend, got to see the new Spider-Man.
Liked it? Not liked it?
I think it's better than the first original one. I'm not sure if it's as good as the second one from Sam Raimi, but I think this is a good jumping point to get that good again.
Okay. All right. So now we move on to the 5-minute challenge.
Check out Matt's channel if you want more of the details.
I am about to actually release our review on it pretty soon here. Yes.
I actually forgot to do something. I can do this during the 5-minute challenge.
Rolling.
Yeah, I did not roll.
Okay, so I did Did I do the 5-minute last time? I think I did.
Yes. I think I can do this one. I didn't write up comprehensive notes, but I think it's fairly straightforward.
All right, I got the stopwatch ready whenever you are, Bill.
Ready as I'm gonna be.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay. The story features a group of soldiers returning from the British colony in India. They are nursing their captain who was attacked by an animal and has come under an infection back to health. During this time, the captain actually appears to be quite feral and attacks a bystander that they come across. I believe this was on the dock when they arrived in London.
Mm-hmm.
This victim ends up across Professor Lightfoot's desk, in his role as a pathologist. And he's looking into it. This has been drained of blood. During this time, he's confronted by a man who is actually from India, who claims he is hunting a beast and needs to take possession of the corpse because they do not understand what they're dealing with. Meanwhile, the soldiers are trying to get their captain cured, and they come across Dr. Tulp, who we might remember from last week. And he instructs them to feed the man an elixir that he's prepared, as well as to feed him raw meat on a regular basis. During this time, one of the soldiers, named Private Michaels, decides to, in order to get them the money to pay for the doctor, as well as in order to make some money on his own, reaches out to Henry Jago and essentially plans to sell him the captain, as an exhibition. In the meantime, Jago and Lightfoot, while they're having their customary drinks in the Red Tavern, notice that Ellie seems to be in a particularly good mood. Her brother is one of the soldiers who is coming back. He does go over and visit her, but because of the situation with the captain, he's pretty much only able to say, "Hi, gotta go," and that's about it. Ellie is then later on attacked by this Indian man, who is basically looking for information as to what's going on. Ellie explains that Jago and Lightfoot have gone to meet with Private Michaels, although she doesn't know the entire details, where he's allegedly doing an exhibition in order to receive payment from them, and for the effectively werewolf captain to become an exhibit on stage. I'm not sure. Did the Indian man ever have a name?
I don't think he had a name, but they never really gave it that much, so we couldn't get a real clear name out of him.
He confronts them, reveals that the diet that Tulp has instructed the captain to be fed is actually accelerating his transformation to a werewolf rather than decelerating it, and that now the only cure is death. A struggle ensues during which Ellie's brother is bitten and starts to become a werewolf himself. Jago is forced to kill him, but by the time Ellie and the police arrive, he's reverted back to a regular man. They tell Ellie that her brother died a hero, protecting people from a rogue serviceman, and the story ends.
All right. That was around about 3 minutes, 21 seconds.
I don't think I missed any major plot points there, right?
No,
not major ones. No.
Didn't the guy from that was sent to take care of the werewolf or whatever it was wind up getting killed too at the end?
Yeah, the Indian guy.
The Indian guy that was out there to hunt him. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He died.
He didn't sound Indian, but he said he was from India, so I'm guessing
they said it was from India.
Face.
He had some sort of slight accent, but not a normal one that you would expect.
Yeah.
Well, he did not talk like a bull, that's for certain.
That is for certain, yes.
Oh my golly gracious! I'm here to kill the monster. Yeah.
What I am here? Do you want tech support?
Yeah, I don't think that would have gone over too well.
No, it would have been tough. You can direct your hate mail to Randy.
Hey, I only did my imitation of Apu from The Simpsons, so, and the guy from Short Circuit.
Yeah, well, that's where pretty much.
Which was a guy in brown face.
Yeah.
He didn't exactly put any heavy makeup on, but yeah, he did pretend to be Indian.
Yeah. Okay, so Aaron, what did you like about the episode?
Overall, in general, I think I do like the atmosphere of. It did feel like Victorian London. I mean, I don't recall hearing too many background noises, but there were enough to kind of convince me that, this was going on in a more historical time than, say a modern Doctor Who adventure or something taking place in the future. I thought it represented the era and the setting pretty well. A lot of the dialogue was, of that era too. So yeah, I do like the setting, and I do think that it came across pretty convincingly.
All right. Tim?
I really liked the growth that Jago went through in this episode. The moments when he's not just the showman, but he actually had to step up his courage and deal with real things. I thought that was
okay,
cool.
So character development on Jago's part. Gotcha. Matt?
I still really like how I like how it's not even just Jago and Lightfoot anymore. They now have like a small little crew with the what's her name again? What's the character's name?
Ellie.
With Ellie, and I would suppose that there's gonna be other side characters that might return too. But it's nice that they have like their own little focus group, kind of slowly working out the kinks, and they play off the three mains so far play off of each other really well.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't surprise me if eventually they get an occasional guy from like Scotland Yard or something.
I was gonna say, wasn't there like a constable in this one that we had met before?
Sergeant Quick.
Yeah.
I know he's referenced as having been met before, but I can't replace when they met him before this, unless he was in Talons and I didn't notice.
I was gonna say unless he was in Talons and we just don't remember.
I know they mentioned that in his first appearance he wasn't a sergeant, so I'm thinking in Talons he appeared with a lower rank. Oh, actually, yeah, they met the police in the beginning. He's probably one of them.
Yep.
Okay, so Bill, how about you? What did you like about the episode?
I think I liked how they handled the overall cast of characters. For an audio, this has a fairly large cast. It had, a multitude of soldiers. It has, the one-off, foreign investigator, for lack of a better name to call him. Mm-hmm. It has Dr. Tulp, but everyone seems fairly balanced. It's, everyone has their own motivation. You can tell them apart, which is one issue that I have, especially like when there's a group of soldiers. I'm very often like, who's talking now? What's going on? But it wasn't too hard for me to tell, okay, this is Ellie's brother. This is, Private Michaels, who's, essentially being the villain for the episode. And then, the other guys aren't quite as obvious, but they fill their role and they don't make it difficult at all. So I kind of like, in general, how the overall cast was handled.
The key ones stood out when they needed to, and you can remember who they were.
By the way, Bill, Sergeant Quick is featured in Talons of Wang Chang as PC Quick, Percival Quick, and his father is actually in the audio adventure The Year of the Bat.
Oh.
Or he's mentioned as being a policeman in that, maybe.
Interesting. So yes, he's a returning character.
All right. So what I liked about this episode is it was a lot more comprehensible than its predecessor.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Where it was all over the place in that one, going back and forth, and you weren't quite sure where everything synced up. Everything here was given to you in order, and you were able to digest it in said order. Made understanding what was going on a lot easier.
I agree there.
What's that?
I said I agree there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So bad. Aaron, what didn't you like about the episode?
I didn't like how this kind of introduced Ellie's brother. I felt that they should have built Ellie up just a little bit further. Maybe she could have shared, 2 or 3 more adventures with Jago and Lightfoot before they started introducing her family, because now her family is kind of used as a crutch. Even if some I'm sure someone has pointed out that she was attached to a man, so I'm not sure she's going to be this episode of Jago and Lightfoot's going to be passing the test we mentioned a while ago.
Oh, the Bechdel test.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because she's already attached to her brother in that story.
Actually,
she doesn't speak to another woman. So
so it fails automatically.
Yep.
Yeah. So I would have liked to have seen her, maybe have them introduce the hobby, or maybe have her take a small part in another mystery. I mean, other than the prequel mystery that we initially saw her in, where she was really just a barmaid. I don't think she even had much of a part in that just at the beginning.
Right. Yeah. The main reason she was included in the cast there was because her role develops as a companion over time. Otherwise, she wouldn't have merited it on that performance alone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would have liked to see the brother introduced in a later story.
Yeah.
Maybe you could have had, instead of her brother, maybe it's her fiance, which would have been pretty interesting. You know.
And that would also still give it a reason why he's gotten swept away quickly, because
Right.
she's still young and she could still find another fiance.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I definitely agree that having it seems a weird decision that to introduce such a what should be such a major character moment for her before the audience really gets a chance to know her, either her or even really feel anything about him.
Mm-hmm. And then just rip him away right away.
It doesn't give you a chance to develop any empathy.
Oh gosh, yeah, she could have mentioned her brother in previous stories too, and then we finally get to meet him, and then his death has that much more impact.
Yeah,
because we've been waiting for him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if they had done this like episode 3,
right,
in here instead of episode 1, but yeah, I get what you're going for. Tim, how about you? What don't you like about the episode?
I thought some of the dialogue was a bit obviously trying to paint visual pictures, as like the things when they said, "Why is he wearing gloves?" to another buddy. Look, the man is wearing dark glasses.
Or they're running across the railroad tracks.
Yeah. At the same time, that is one of the things they kind of have to do with radio plays, which is what these essentially are.
It's essentially the curse of being audio only.
Yeah, it's not that different from the TV. Yeah, okay, I feel you. It's not that different from the TV trope of, you say what? She did this to that? She's coming here now? Why are you repeating everything I said? I'm repeating everything you said?
You don't say. You don't say. What'd they say? They didn't say. Who was that? They didn't say.
I think I read that comic strip.
That actually is a very old comedy routine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
very old. That's
really
like Red Skeleton. Even older than him, actually.
Oh, it predates Red Skeleton. Or predates
He's
Red
done
Skeleton.
it once at least, though.
Yeah, it's. I remember. I think it was.
Abbott and Costello?
Abbott and Costello, I think, did it at least once.
At the very least once, yeah.
And it was old when they did it.
Mm-hmm.
Spike Jones did it and as a side in one of his songs. It's, yeah. And that's 30s. So it probably goes back to vaudeville, to the advent of the telephone.
Probably.
Okay. So, Matt, how about you? What did you like about the episode?
Did not like about the episode.
Did not like. Negative.
Oh. Trying to think.
Overall negative.
The one, I forget who it was now. The one soldier who was stupid enough to walk off with the captain.
Yeah,
Michaels.
Yeah, he's a bit thick, wasn't he? I mean, I understand his motivations, but they're kind of dense when you look at the situation they're in. They obviously shouldn't be moving this guy around at all, much less taking him outside. And what's going to stop a frail human from turning around and killing you, too?
Yeah, plus, of course, the fact, oh, yes, let's show him off in an exhibition. Oh, wait, he eats people!
We literally watched him eat people. Duh.
And you're going to put him in a crowded exhibition hall with a few hundred people.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally going to be a reenactment of King Kong, only it's going to be a blood-sucking werewolf.
Well, yeah, that's why he wants the payment up front.
Probably. Which is probably why he's trying to just make off with the money and run.
It's just a really bad idea.
It's a bad idea to get yourself attached to that kind of idea, yeah. It's just kind of thick all around.
Are All right, Bill, how about you? What did you not like about the episode?
So, I don't like the fact that it's really not clear at all what Top's motivation in
Thank you
causing a plague of werepire, Vamwolf, whatever we want to call them.
Yeah.
There's really no motivation there other than just to be evil.
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out too. When you were talking about how, everybody was written with their motivations clear, I'm like, what the fuck about Tolp?
Yeah.
I'm like, Tolp has no fucking motivation in this.
Tolp is still a very weird villain who doesn't seem to really have a sound
I guess
plan.
he's the exception to that rule.
And he doesn't even hand wring and laugh evilly. He just does it and walks off.
Well, he does that. He does that whole "I am many things, as you will soon see," and he has that tone where like he would laugh evilly, but he doesn't quite.
He refrains from evil laughter until he's in private.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, it's just like, yeah, this guy right now is still not winning me over.
Yeah.
Hopefully, he gets a little bit stronger before the end of this particular season. But
I mean, even if he, even if he's actively evil for something, he's kind of lackadaisical evil here.
Right.
There's no rhyme or reason to anything he's doing. He's just like, fuck, okay, I'll
give him 2 wheels of raw meat and call me in the morning.
I mean, the last 2 things we've seen no reason for why he's doing this.
Nope.
So, yeah, he hasn't won any awards for me either.
He's just a crazy mad scientist at this point.
All right, so the one thing I am going to say, which is almost a counterpoint to what I said for what I liked about the episode, is that the structure is too simple. Now, I know I said I liked the fact that it wasn't as complex as the other one, but it could have been more complex. There could have been a little more twisty and turny in there. Other than that, it was pretty straightforward for what it was. It led you down a garden path pretty quickly. I just felt there could have been a little more meat to its bones.
Right. Which probably would have helped if we had had more of Ellie and or her brother in a story or two beforehand to kind of give them more personality.
That too.
Yeah.
It's just like I got done and my thought was that it? Is there more?
Nope.
Jeez. It was kind of a letdown. All right. Favorite scene, Aaron.
My favorite scene. It was such a simple story that I don't really. I actually I do. I enjoy the scene where the Indian or the guy from India talked to them about where these creatures come from. We actually got some exposition, some kind of story about what they were, how they're kind of in this kind of part of the country that no one ever goes to, and yet the British Army kind of went into this valley or whatever where these creatures lurk. I mean, it did kind of feed into more questions of, why wasn't this more widespread, or how come, what was keeping these creatures in this valley in order, so to keep them hidden from everything. Maybe India had figured out a way of controlling their numbers somehow. Like, I guess the bullet.
This is your favorite scene?
I think so. I'll be honest, it was kind of a mediocre episode for me. I mean, I enjoyed it. But to be honest, I can't really remember very many other scenes other than Jago kind of growing some balls and like shooting something.
Okay. Tim, your favorite scene?
I liked the scene where Ellie is reunited with her brother for the first time, only to have to say goodbye. There was a lot of heart in that scene, I think. And I liked how it was positively portrayed Ellie as genuinely caring and not just like a overprotective nag.
Definitely a far cry from the bitchy exterior that she put forward in the Mahogany Murderers.
Mahogany. Sorry, had to say
Mahogany.
it.
You're not saying it deep enough.
Hey, my lungs are still at half capacity, Matt.
Mahogany. It's on the throat. It's nothing to do with the lungs.
Okay. Okay, so you're on the spotlight now, Matt. What was your favorite scene?
Favorite scene. I think I'm going to go with. There's a couple of them I'm trying to choose from. I'm gonna go with the bit where they meet up at the bar again between Jago and Lightfoot, and we just had the scene with the soldier where he was going to sell off the captain as a show, and as as Jago and Lightfoot are talking, and there's back and forth about whether or not Lightfoot's going to help pay for this if they decide to buy this act. Lightfoot's like, why are you jumping into this? And Jago's like, I'm not jumping into this. This is why I haven't paid the guy yet, and that's why I want to show first. I may be eager to get out of being poor, but I'm not stupid. You know?
All right. Bill, your favorite scene?
I'm going to go with the very end when Lightfoot is consoling Jago and reminding him you did the right thing. Yes, you absolutely did the right thing, even though it was very difficult. And just the way that scene was done, they could just about see the two of them standing in the street, trying to get over this event.
That was my number 2, by the way. You're fortunate I decided not to go with that one.
Yeah. Yes, I am.
I've figured someone might cover that one.
Okay. And I think mine, nah, I'm going to pass. Oh, anything I would have taken has been taken.
We already got all of yours. Okay.
All right, least favorite scenes. Aaron, you're first.
I'm going to go ahead and say the scene where the bald dude dies, the guy who is apparently feeding the serum to the werewolf to try to enhance its transformation or make it transform, because I didn't even know that he had died until the characters actually pointed out to him.
Oh, Aaron?
I think you're mixing up characters, because Dr. Hope didn't die.
Bald guy did not die. He was in there for one scene and left.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes. Yep. You're mixing up the Indian guy.
I'm thinking about the no, not the Indian guy. I'm mixing up the other guy in the army who had stolen the werewolf to go to sell
the soldier,
it to promote it.
The
soldier.
Michaels.
For some reason.
Michaels.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
actually,
you totally botched that.
I thought that he had I just remembered the wrong character. It's still the same thing where it's not quite that obvious that he dies, and it's also not that obvious that the soldier that shoots at the beast at first also dies, because there's Jim, who is Ellie's brother, and then there's a second soldier there with him that shoots at the beast and fails to get it, and the beast kills him, and then it's up to Jim to kill the beast. So there's 2 deaths in there that if you're not paying attention, you're going to be completely lost as to whether, what happened to those characters.
I agree with you there.
They all died in a massive slaughtering of screams.
Yeah.
Well, if it helps, this was during this time they would have been wearing red shirts.
Yeah.
Just saying, or red coats anyway.
Wearing them.
They're British soldiers. Of course they're wearing red.
Yeah.
All right.
Do they wear that now? I thought they would have worn camo by now. But
yes, but
in
this
the 1890s.
Is Victorian. Yes.
They're wearing what we saw on Empress of Mars.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Tim, your least favorite scene?
I don't like the scene where Taupe is examining the vampire wolf, and he's saying, "Oh, do this, do this, do this," and then one of the soldiers says, "Well, at least you got that right." And I was like, "What did he get wrong so far?" So far he's been very non-specific. So
yeah,
where's this? It's
when
like
he was like, I did tell you it would get worse before it got better. Well, you got that right. Yeah. Well, he hasn't had the chance to get better yet. But yeah, I see your point.
a bit of unwarranted skepticism.
All right, Matt, your least favorite scene?
Least favorite scene. Actually, my big confusion was a bit seen earlier because all of a sudden the Indian werewolf slayer comes rushing in to try and kill the werewolf, and then there's a smattering of things going around, and then a scream, and we don't even know who it is until someone has to literally announce it for us. He's dead. Take his dagger. Let's go find the monster. It's like, really? You couldn't have had the actual actor scream? Okay. Stock screams it is.
Well, at least he didn't Wilhelm yell, did he?
It wasn't a full-on Wilhelm yell, but it was something very similar to it.
Related point, the first time I saw Rogue One, I thought there was no Wilhelm in it, and then I rewatched it today and I found the Wilhelm. And that has nothing to do with Doctor Who, but it happened today, so.
Yeah, they're all going to be hidden in there somewhere. It was not going to be.
It was a very toned down Wilhelm, not as obvious as I'm used to. That's why I missed it the first time.
I noticed it.
So, Bill, since you're telling us stuff, care to tell us your least favorite scene?
Yes, my least favorite scene is, "Hi, Ellie. Bye, Ellie. I'm not even going to tell you that the captain's sick. I'm just going to say bye. I'm just going to leave you and not have you
barely even mention
know
the
why."
captain's sick.
Yeah, all he said is the captain needs me. Like, it sounds like he's being sent on a mission or something.
Yeah. You'd think he could make some quickie explanations.
Right.
Look, the captain got attacked by something on there, and now he's very sick, and we've got to take care of him. Mm-hmm. And we owe him that because this is our captain. He's seen us through stuff. You know, it would have made things.
I'm still alive in here.
It would have, it would have been proper. It would have been nice. But instead, that's just hi, bye, Captain.
It would have felt a lot more intentional because he specifically left the building to go see her, and then the only things that he tells her is that he needs to go.
Yeah, it was kind of really. I suspect there was a larger scene there that got chopped down for time.
Maybe.
They pretty much just rushed it, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm going to pass on least favorite scene too, because, yeah, there's not much left.
All the big ones have been taken again.
Final thoughts, Aaron.
Well, I thought it wasn't too bad of a story. It was fairly short. I was actually very surprised at how short it was.
Get used to it.
Yeah, I know. I was kind of, disappointed with that. I was expecting another 2-hour gig, but given the age of the actors and whatnot, it's not unheard of.
Did you want us to do the whole box set at once?
No, but I would have loved these episodes to be more 45 minutes than 20.
Gotcha.
Oh, wait, it wasn't even an hour, was it? It was only 20 minutes.
25. It was about 25? Half an hour.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Like, so, no wonder why, because, like, I was even going to say it. I was expecting it to be, 2 hours, but like at 25 minutes, it's not even near like even an hour's worth. So yeah. Okay.
Turn my head and I bumped my microphone. Sorry.
But anyway, yeah, I thought it was an interesting introduction. I just wish that part with the brother had been saved for a later episode. That's it for me.
All right, Tim.
I thought this was above average to pretty cool episode. Good character development for both Jango and Lightfoot. Good more establishing what Ellie is all about. I'm still trying to figure out Dr. Top, though, but I think I'm not alone in that. Mm-hmm. So it was okay.
Matt?
I agree with Tim on Tulp. Tulp is still coming off as a really weak main villain. Hopefully they start developing him a little bit better in the next couple stories. Otherwise, the actual Monster Menace was an interesting idea. I don't think they quite hammered it perfectly, but they got just the main gist of it right. The characters have been going through some developments, and while the barmaid's development was kind of shoehorned and quickly pushed through, it would have served better later on in the season. But otherwise, the main gist of the story is what's important, and the main focus turned out pretty well for the most part.
Bill?
I'm going to say it was a fun Monster of the Week romp, but it feels a little bit like the writing team is still finding its feet, and it doesn't feel like it's quite balanced properly for a season premiere. I agree. For that reason, among the ones we've discussed, it probably should have been like episode 2 or 3, with something a little stronger and a little more focused on Tulp or focused on other things as the actual premiere. But as a one-off story, it was all right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So it was okay. The acting was good. The characters played well with each other, but it was horribly pared down and basicified that you basically burped and it was done. It was short and it felt cut down because of it. This is something that they could have, if they had padded it out to a modern Doctor Who episode length, it would have fared a lot better than it did at the 25-minute level. That it needed a little more meat on its bones.
Yeah, this is a little
really
too bare
make
bone.
it anything of quality. All right, the scores. And again, we rank in the order of our review. So, Aaron, first call.
Actually, now that I've just realized exactly how short this was, I'm probably going to drop my score a little bit. Like, for some reason, I was thinking it was an hour long, and I wish it would have been 2 hours long. But
if it were an hour long, it would have been a 4-hour box set.
Yeah.
Yeah. Meh. I guess it just kind of still surprises me, you know. But anyway, I mean, a 4-hour box set is nothing for me. I have Cats on CD. But yeah, I'm going to drop mine down to maybe about 2.5 stars.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
2.5 stars.
Okay, I missed the 2.
You glitched on the 2 on my end.
It kind of digitized when you were saying
sorry.
the syllable 2.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right. 2.5 from Aaron. Tim, your go.
I'm going to give this 3.5 stars.
1/2 stars from Tim. Matt.
I believe last time I gave it a 3, so this is definitely a 3.5.
You gave it a 3. You gave it a 3.5 last time.
Did I give it a 3.5 last time?
You gave it a 3.5 last time. I'm looking right at your score.
I'm thinking that was a really low 3.5. This would be probably a high 3.5, so still 3.5 at the moment.
Okay.
They're getting close to that 4.
All right.
Not quite there.
Bill?
So I'm going to agree that this is a little bit stronger than last week, but it definitely had some weaknesses, keeping it from being great. So I'll go with, I believe last week I gave a 3. I'm going to go up to the 3.5 this time.
All right, 3.5 from that. And I personally feel that it didn't quite make that 3.5 changeover. While better than last season, it added new flaws in that it went too far in the other direction. So I am going to give this another 3.0 because it's kind of a meh to me. And of course, Thomas is absent, so.
Can I give a score for last week too?
Oh, yeah.
We got your score from last week.
Oh, did we?
Oh, really?
Did we announce it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think I did tell you what the score was.
Yeah, you sent it to me in private message.
No, I didn't.
Or you either that or you told it to me on the way.
Yeah, you told it to him.
I honestly, I think I heard a couple lines of of one side of a conversation of it being told in person. So
yeah, because I think that was the Wednesday that I walked home in the torrential rain and just wanted to crawl into bed.
Yeah.
Yep.
That it was.
Yeah, the time we had the tornado warning. Yep.
Thankfully, it didn't turn into a watch.
No, you got that the other way around, Matt. Tornado watches are the be wary, there might be a tornado. Warning is, oh my God, it's a tornado, take shelter.
Yes, I get it.
All right. So you told me 3.5. Was that correct, Aaron?
Yeah, it was 2.5.
Talking about last time.
Oh, last time I thought it was 3.5 stars.
Yeah, that's what I said.
That's what he just said.
Okay, making sure. Yeah, you were included in the score tally last time.
Okay.
Which our score tally last time looks to be averaging out to what the score tally is this time. 3.2.
Bonk.
Yep. And 3.2 will sort us. Right where last week was. At 157 out of 208 things reviewed. So it's on par with the Mahogany Murders, Time Lash, Pandorica Opens Big Bang, Robot, and Dalek's Master Plan, Better Than Earthshock, Cold War, Rings of Akaton, The Coach with the Dragon Tattoo, and Asylum of the Daleks, and not as good as Stones of Blood, Modern Undead, For Tonight We Die, Evil of the Daleks, and The Forest of the Night, etc. So that's all we really have to say about that one. Ranked 157 out of 208.
Lower half, but it's hard to get out of the lower half for mediocre stuff right now.
Yeah. You have to hit at least a 4 to start getting into our upper ranks. And
we need to start seeking out more 1s and 2s, but I keep saying that.
You keep saying that, and we keep not getting them.
Yeah, the thing is, there's always the one guy that's like, I'll give it a 3. I'm looking at you, Tim. I'm looking at you.
There's also the fact that if we thought the majority of Doctor Who episodes were average or mediocre, then we probably wouldn't be strong enough fans to be doing this podcast.
Well, no, even I'll admit there's some crap in Doctor Who.
Some, yeah. But not 50% of it.
Yeah.
I mean, we've done some of the episodes I thought were total crap, and they're still getting average ratings by this. Like Time Lash. Time Lash is shit. And it's got a 3.2 from us.
Is that my fault?
I have to take a look. I can't remember when we reviewed that sucker. I'm just like, what the hell, man? Time Lash is the crappiest episode. Actually, I think that one might have been my fault. I forgot. I forgot. I forgot about the fact that it had one redeeming value, and that is the fact that Avon from Blake 7 is playing one of the bad guys in there.
Which one of us? Which one of us voted this story so high? Who's the idiot? Oh,
I don't know. I still don't know what season we reviewed that.
That wasn't that long ago. It's maybe a year or two ago.
Yeah.
It was not that long ago. It's your own fault.
Okay. Nope. It's Tim's. It's Tim's.
Oh.
All right. I'm looking at those scores, and Tim gave it a 5.
All right. Well, if
with that bombshell,
does that about wrap up our comments?
With that bombshell, go ahead, Bill.
Before I close this out, yeah. All right. So if you enjoy listening to us, or you want to comment or other things, please subscribe to us on twitch.tv/Unearthly Podcast or via an Unearthly Podcast on YouTube. You can also like and follow for news and updates on Facebook and Twitter. And if you want to support us, you can head on over to patreon.com/Unearthly Podcast. If you want to see us in person, you can also join us in 1 month's time for GeekCon in Madison, Wisconsin.
All right.
If you want to send us hate mail about our scores, you can send them to Timothy Sheridan, Matt.
Okay, so on next week's show, we continue in our Jago and Lightfoot highlight and move on to Jago and Lightfoot Series 1, The Belova Devil. I forgot to see who that was written by. I'm sorry, I kind of had to half-ass do this today.
You killed me over here.
I've been sick. Give me a break. I nearly died twice this week.
It's written by Alan Barnes.
Written by Alan Barnes and starring Christopher Benjamin as Henry Gordon Jago, Trevor Baxter as George Lightfoot, and Lisa Bowerman as Ellie Higson. So see you next week when I will be probably a little more alert and with it and lively.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Nighty night.